championships in the background.
My picture frames are in the background. All right. So, all right, Jane, Claro, welcome back to episode
Yeah.
45 of Who the Heck Are We? So, Who the Heck Are We is currently under the Globally Ballin Network. Just subscribe to the Globally Ballin Network on YouTube. Go press on YouTube, Globally Ballin, and hit that subscribe button. Part of the Globally Ballin Network is the Globally Ballin podcast, where you take a surface view of all the sports that they will discuss there. Again, check that out on Globally Ballin YouTube. And next, also on the Globally Ballin Network, is 5 Minutes with, where they will, Aaron Aronston and some athletes will be talking about their sporting experiences within 5 minutes of an episode. Next is actually a very, very good podcast where they'll be talking about volleyball is Hang Time with Denise Dinsai. And last but not the least, our friends in an eternity of basketball. And that is hosted by Sid, Charlie Cuna, and Noel Zarate. The show right now is sponsored by Chops to Go. Tender, yummy chicken chops with crispy chips. And you could buy these chops to go in branches of SM Bikutan, SM South Mall, and SM North EDSA. Another supporting product that's supporting this Who the Heck Are We is Georgie's homemade peanut butter. Yummy peanut butter made locally in Bukidnon, Mindanao. So
Yummy.
yummy. So why don't we all support our local products? This is actually pretty good, and I'll be discussing this with our guest for today. And with that, our guest for today is a DJ. Si Jay, excited si Jay dito eh. A DJ, news anchor, sports anchor, a dashing debonair, and a guy with a bow tie. He is
Oh.
Boyet Sison, citizen of the world, child of the universe. Boyet Sison?
Sineryoso talaga niya.
Ayun. Totally, sir.
Boyet, dapat may roar.
Thank you.
Where's your roar?
Meron. Ayan, oh, may sound effects naman nung papalakpakan eh. Kompleto.
Hello,
Oh,
guys.
sakto.
Hello, hello, Jay.
Hello.
Hello, Claude. Thank you for having me here. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
That's
Nice
the first
to
time we
meet
had
you.
on the show. That's the first
Yeah,
time we
may-
had on the show that made such a grand entrance, di ba?
Thank you. See? Still happening.
Endless.
Guys, I don't think I'll be able to host this show because tawa kami. Every time I see Boyet, all the time, and we see each other
You
a
start
lot.
laughing.
We start laughing. Magkikita lang kami, tatawa na kami dalawa. I don't know. Magtatawa lang kami. But,
Parang sinabi
you
mo
know.
naman clown si Papa B. Grabe naman.
Ay, oo. Naku, si Papa B pa. Yun. So,
Bakit? Pwede naman akong clown ah. Pwede din.
Bagay,
Bigyan ko
oo.
ng kapiro doon. Oo.
I will not dispute that. Pero Papa B, kamusta?
I'm good, lady and gentlemen. Thank you first and foremost for having me on this program. I've been actually sending out feelers to you for you guys to guess me, but unfortunately, I was not given my opportunity until now, and I'm very very. But on a serious note, congratulations to the three of you. You've been really working hard with this podcast of yours, and you are doing a very good job.
thank you
Nice,
so
nice,
much.
Means a lot for it to come
Thank
from you.
Yeah.
Thank
man.
you.
So, dashing debonair, Mr. Boyet Sison. Yan.
Dami namang adjective niyan. Baka may
Dashing.
maniwala. Actually,
Hayaan mo na, Papa B. This is the rare opportunity that Claudia will get her bearings. So,
I know, exactly. This is where my personality would come out.
dashing. Unang naalala ko, Christmas, dashing through the snow. Di ba?
Let's go on with the show.
Go.
So, yeah, boy, so we're on episode 45, And thank you again. Claro and Jay have been very good in following up with our guests, and you've been sending out feelers to guests, and finally we have you here. So let's start, Aman, with your career. No, you could see in the background you have your Euphoria. For Jay and Claro, I don't think you guys reached
Yes.
Euphoria. Stargazer. Oh, Stargazer.
I don't think
So
so. No.
no, yeah, you guys are young, like way younger. So
I'm
you know,
aware. I'm
boy.
aware.
So boy, tell us more about how you started actually in your career as a DJ. How did you get to love music?
Music has always been a very, very big part of my life. Mainly because both sides of my family were very much into music. On my father's side, my father had 8 siblings. On my mom's side, she had 11 siblings, and you can just
Mhm.
imagine the enormity of the family reunions, the birthday parties, the celebration of certain milestones, which would involve the aunts and uncles, the nieces and nephews, the cousins, and the extended family. So I was basically brought up in an environment where there were just a lot of people every time, and in these gatherings there was a lot of food. So
I
uh,
know.
growing up, I was born in Paco, in Manila, and that was in 1963. Okay, yeah. On this month, in 1963, I was
Happy
born
birthday,
at
sir.
the malapit na Perpetual Soro
It's
in
just around
Paco.
the corner.
That's around the corner. And I my first uh, experiences of having a certain sense of consciousness was I was about 3 years old already.
Wow.
We were living in Pasay. Pasay at that time had no tall structures. Ross Boulevard was very, very nice and clean, and you see people outside every afternoon eating. The smell of barbecue, children flying kites
Mm.
on Long
Park.
Ross Boulevard. You had
It's like a beachside,
calesas,
no?
and with that environment in mind, my father was a very avid record collector. Was already starting, he would buy records and play it in the family home in Pasay. Uh, classical music, Brahms, Rachmaninoff, Brahms, to people like Tony Bennett, Sinatra, and then on to the Beatles, etc., etc., etc. So music was a really big part of my life, and then that love for music eventually turned into me buying my own record collection. Started out buying 45 RPM records in Raon, and eventually when Unimart opened in Green Hills, that was the go-to record store for us. 45 records at that time cost 25 centavos for a
Wow.
RPM
Wow.
record. 25 centavos. An
Masarap
LP,
mangolekta nun.
an LP would cost about what? Uh, 10 pesos, more or less at the time.
Don't play.
So
Mura.
that started me off collecting records. By the time I was around uh, 12, 13, my father improved on the technology that we had at home. So there was an open reel tape deck, a cassette player, and a turntable.
Mm.
So what I dreamt of doing was being able to play all three at the same time, because I was 14 years old. My parents went to the Where Else discotheque in the Intercon. The Intercon opened in 1971, so that was around 1973, 74, somewhere there. And I saw the DJ. So I want to do what that guy's doing, playing music. So I really was curious about it, and eventually my dad said, "Oh, sige, let's see what we can do to get that hobby of yours going." So he did. Bought a microphone mixer. A mic mixer does not have a headphone jack. It's just knobs to put in the outputs of the contraptions of the tape deck, the open reel, the cassette, and the turntable. So I would, you know, segue songs one after the other. That started it. Eventually, I was able to get my hands on the technology, the proper technology. Bought my first turntable at the cost of 5,000 pesos.
Mahal na dun the time,
Wow.
diba?
High-end na yun, malamang.
Seems like it, yes.
That was my first DJ turntable cost me about 5 grand. That was a Techniques D1 turntable, which was still a belt drive, but it was already being used in the clubs, in the di pa nga pala club ang tawag nun. In the
In the disco.
So that led me to apprenticing at the where else in late 76, in late 1976. By 1977, the movie Saturday Night Fever comes out, and
Nice.
that totally blew me away. And more than ever, I really wanted to be a DJ already in 77.
Oh.
Had my first DJ gig, my first paid professional DJ gig in 77. I was 15 years old, I think.
You were 15?
Yes, ma'am. 15 years old.
Claro, show
In
that
high
photo.
school.
Let's bring up that photo. Were you? Is that you at age?
Yeah. That
15
was
years old, sir?
That's my grade 7 graduation photo.
Oh, you're 13 or 14 years old that time.
Yeah.
Oo.
I was looking like that when I was starting to learn how to.
Mm.
That
Wow.
was hair. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Pero
That
just
was
chiming
the-
in.
Kirat,
Just chiming in lang.
kirat yung kaliwang mata. Bakit kirat? Bakit? Okay, I'll tell you the story of that photo.
Okay.
Ooh. Story time.
Why?
Don't you notice there's a bit of puffiness?
Nasuntok ka, no?
Nakipag-away ako niyan the day before.
Are you serious?
How's the
I'm
other
serious.
guy? Oh, how's the other
The other
guy?
guy, well, he's alive.
Pero mahilig ka sa boxing, di ba, sir? I think we have a picture here too. With the benefit of those listening, we have pictures of Sir Boyet.
Yeah, well, sports was also a very big part of my life at that time. Remember, in those days, there was no NBA on TV.
Yeah.
Sports
right.
on Philippine TV, on free Philippine TV at that time, because there was no cable yet, was relegated to being on free TV. But
Boxing, sir.
the nice thing about it was you had such a wide range of events being broadcast at boxing. You had baseball with the voices of people like Rick Tiero calling the game. Oh, wow. You had Willie Hernandez on radio calling the Mika, the national seniors and all that. I really did not get into sports announcing up until up until the latter years. But the love for sports has always been there. When I was young, I had a dream of playing for the Philippine national team. So at around 7, 8 years old, sando ang usual outfit of
Basketball yan,
outfit of kids like us at that time. Sando yan, tapos yung polo shirt ng uniform mo, di ba?
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
So my mom would get really pissed off because I would always get a pentel pen, draw the Philippine national flag on my left pen,
Oh, wow.
and put my favorite player's number in front and in the back.
Sino yan, sir?
What sport is that? Basketball or baseball?
Basketball. Oh.
Basketball.
Remember, in 72, when we competed in Munich, the Philippine national team kit was just white or blue, okay? And just a Philippine flag here.
May flag. Tas numbers.
That was it. That was it. On the left chest. On the left part of the chest. So that was the Philippine national team kit, which I held in such high regard. Na parang, wow, for somebody to wear that, wow, what an honor. That's such an honor. So yun ang dream ko.
Mm.
And my favorite basketball team at that time, in the early 70s, was Crispa. I was a
Okay.
Crispa boy.
Okay.
Crispa. So para sa
Oh.
inyong mga lahat mga Toyota Talos, mga Toyota Talos kayo dyan,
Oh.
uh,
No wonder mag-aaway nga kayo ni Noel, no?
marami kaming Grand Slam sa inyo. Yun lang.
Oh. No wonder mag-aaway nga kayo ni Noel.
Oo, di ba? Marami kami Grand Slam, kahit may game fixing kami, mas marami pa rin kami Grand Slam. Kahit ano ba sabihin nyo, marami kaming Grand Slam. Kaya, Noel, if you're watching this,
I'll send him a snippet of this, sir.
but don't get me wrong, I love Noel. Noel is my underclassman
Oh.
in high school. But okay, continuing with that, Crispa was my favorite commercial basketball team. I would draw the Crispa logo here.
Yun nga eh.
Number 11, Adornado was my favorite.
Adornado.
I was an Adornado boy.
Oh.
I loved Bogs Adornado.
Oh.
I
You should have
just
asked your
love that.
parents to... Papa B, you should have asked your parents to buy you Crispa shirts that time.
I was wearing Crispa shirts.
Oh, there you go.
Bumibili ako
Kompleto.
talaga ng Crispa na shirt.
Oo.
Kaya lang, during that time, walang replica jerseys eh. There was no such thing as creating replica jerseys for fans. There was no such thing. Unless you go to a sports tailor and you had your own, you had one made at that time. So pupunta ka ng Cubao, punta ka ng Raon,
Recto. Raon.
Recto, yan. Andun yung mga
Recto.
pirate, andun yung mga pirata eh.
Oh.
Mga pirata. So pwede mong pagawa. Magawa
Pati
ka.
diploma mo eh. Pwede
Of
mo.
course.
Everything. You name it.
So that was my love for sports. Although I also dabbled in playing baseball, volleyball, football was a favorite as well, because it was standard activity in school, right? Elementary, high school, you had PE. So that was part of it. In high school, in elementary, I was part of our school's midget basketball team. In high school, I was part of our high school basketball team when I was in my second year of high school.
Okay.
Kasi pagdating na third year, medyo I was starting to get waned away from sports by the time I was third year. Nagpupunta na ako ng mga party noon eh. May mga
May disco ka na.
soiree na noon eh, di ba? May mga sister class na noon. I started getting more aware of the females.
Opposite sex.
And you would DJ there, sir? Tama ba?
And I would, yes. At that time, third year, yes. My classmate would have, what we would do was get 4 speakers and 2 separate amplifiers.
Wow.
Okay,
So
2
two
separate amplifiers, 2 separate so 2 speakers for each amplifier, which had their own turntables, and we would just pagkapatog yung
Plastic.
dalawang amp, doon kami gumaganon. Hindi namin ginaganon.
Pinaglalaroan nyo lang talaga.
Pero tuloy-tuloy yung tugtog, di ba?
Oo.
Tuloy-tuloy yung sound. Yeah. So it was fun because technology at that time was not really commercially available, and we had to make do with what we had. But we had records. We had a lot of music because I was also I found out that you can go to Angeles City in Pampanga or San Fernando. Because of the military bases, you had a lot of imported records that are being sold there.
Yeah.
I would buy imported records na rin at that time. By the time I was in second, third year high school. Bibiyahe ako, pupunta ka na Angeles, makakabili ka ng imported na plaka na sa halagang 50 pesos. 50 pesos to 100 if it was really a hit. You can get it for $100. But spending 100 pesos for a record at that time was heavy. That was heavy. Mabigat yun.
Uh,
That was expensive already. What? A bottle of Coke was 10 cents, 10, 15 cents. High school, ang baon ko, 2 piso. 2 pesos.
this was
High
still in the
school.
70s, no?
Yes, sir.
70s pa, no? We're still talking the
Yes.
70s. Just doing the
So
math.
the 70s for me up to now more than ever now. I'm turning 58 in a few days. More than anything, more than at any time in my life, the 70s for me were the best years. Musically for me, musically, and I think as far as the world was at that time, the 70s for me was the best years as far as me being alive is concerned. Why? One, there was a lot of honesty, not only in sports but in the world. There's a lot of
Mm.
sincerity in the world. People who played the game were sincere and passionate about it. It
Yeah.
was not yet at the time a matter of a player playing the game to derive an income. They played the game to play the game, which
Yeah.
really made me love which made me have a lot of heroes at that time because you could really see it in their faces. See their faces. You can see the passion, see the pride in their game. You see the old adage of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat was really etched on their faces. Not so evident in that particular moment in time for me. Um, I was able to watch the 1968 Mexico Olympics on TV. That was a really big turning
Yeah.
point for me.
Mhm.
To watch the 68 Mexico Olympics on TV was a big thing because uh, that really signaled my love for sports. Papanood ko eh. Philippine team! Wah! Di ba? Yeah, that's
Oh,
us! They're playing for us! So, um, there was so much pride watching these guys.
Mm.
68, the 68 national basketball team, believe it or not, had Robert Jaworski.
68? 1968? Wow.
68.
How
He
old
was on
was
the
he then?
lineup.
How old was he?
I don't remember. Also in that lineup was Freddie Webb, but he was an alternate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, for I can't remember who the people in athletics were at that time. But remember, 68 in Mexico was also very, very monumental in the Olympic movement because a lot of the South Africans started to really establish themselves in long distance running in 68.
Yeah.
That was Abibi Bikila. Abibi Bikila who really cemented his stature in sports with the 68 Olympics.
Mm.
And a lot of the other athletes who at that time were not considered there were no professionals, quote unquote, yet in sport at that time. So fast forward to 72, you had what? Mark Spitz, Nadia Comaneci, the infamous hostage taking in 72.
That's right. Yeah.
Philippines beating Japan after the coach of Japan, after qualifying, after taking the championship in the 71 ABC, which is now the FIBA Asia tournament, said, "We will beat the Filipinos blindfolded in the Olympics."
This is basketball.
That was
Oh.
the banner headline of the sports page after that tournament. And we all did not forget that. We did not forget that statement by the Japanese coach. So when the Olympics of 72 happened and we faced Japan, which had the sharpshooting Masatomo Taniguchi, the very, very quick Shigeaki Abe, the very, very tall at 6'8" Jumbo Numata, who was just, wow, so high up there that Jimmy Mariano, I think, asked him, "Oh, kamusta ang hangin dyan?" How's the air up there? And
Were you
then,
able to watch that game on TV?
Yes, sir. Oh,
Oh,
yes,
it's
sir.
cool.
But
Okay,
it was
yun
not live. Remember, at that time, it was
delay.
difficult. It was difficult to have things like that live via satellite. So it was usually on a delayed telecast basis. Maybe
Oo.
about 2 hours, 2 hours after the actual game, they would beam the
Okay.
tape,
The feed.
the feed. They'll beam the feed to the Philippines 2 hours after.
Right.
So that was a big evening for Philippine sports at that time.
Mm.
Uh, and because not only because of that statement by the Japanese coach, um, it was also, remember, that was already the cusp of a looming declaration of martial law.
Yes. Mm.
Things were percolating at that time politically in our country.
Mhm.
Things were
Gumugulo
percolating.
na.
Oo,
Mm.
gumugulo na. So, politically, our country was uh, starting to feel that unrest, and
Mm.
that game, watched by anybody and everybody I knew who loved basketball, was a good distraction from what was happening in our country at that time. So
Yeah.
Oh.
it was fantastic. Okay, asa na ako? Nasa
Oh,
70s
Hindi,
na ako, no?
wait,
teka lang po
wait.
eh.
Okay,
Stop
okay.
mo na kasi ang dami
Oh.
namin
Pause,
question.
pause, pause.
Parang isang
Oh, may
question ng
Go.
Teka lang,
I
Jay.
got one too.
sige, good,
I know,
Claudia.
right?
I also have a
We, we,
question.
yeah, we have Ah, alam mo, I told you, Claro and Jay, wala mangyayari sa amin ni Boyet. Alam mo, kayong dalawa dapat ang mag-host nito. Kasi kung hindi, tawa kami na ng tawa. So,
Your
sige,
mind's
Jay.
blank.
Oh,
Ano,
no.
go, Jay.
Hindi, no, if I'm hosting this one, di lang magtatanong, hayaan ko lang si Papa B magkwento. Ilang beses na rin kami nagkita niya. Ilang beses kami nag-jamming yan. Pero may tanong ako, going back, kasi at this point in your career, I mean, you can do everything right now. I'm just curious about your influences. Sino ba yung mga influensya
When you
mo
talk of
pagdating sa
influences,
DJing?
yeah, okay, the DJing part. Okay, well, the influences of the DJing part was also part and parcel because of radio.
Mm.
Radio was another medium that I wanted to do while I was learning how to DJ, to become a disco DJ.
Mm-mm.
Radio was also something that I wanted to do. Kasi nga, di ba, my uh, radio was your auditory medium of entertainment. Eh.
Yeah, oo.
Day in, day
Tsaka ang
out,
dami mo ng
you were
ang
listening
dami
to the
mo ng
radio.
equipment di ba? You have a turntable, meron kang
Oo,
cassette na,
correct.
ang dami mong
Exactly.
medium, papalit-palit ka
So,
ng
kaya nga.
kanta.
So ang gagawin ko dati, magre-record ako ng mga paborito ko kanta sa radyo. Pero may inis ako dahil pag nagsalita yung DJ, tapos yung recording. May bokis. Wala na. Biglang, ponyemas naman nagsalita pa, oh. Bad trip. So, aantayin
Minsan
mo
din
na naman
ngayon.
ulit. Nakaganyan na naman yung record and play. Tapos yung post, nakaganon ka, oh. Pag sinabi ni DJ, coming up, the song of yada 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 yada, only here on WKW. Ganyan ka agad sa post kasi abangan mo na di ba? Kasi pag nagbilang yung DJ, ibig sabihin, walang talk over yon. Wala siyang talk over. Kasi nagsalita na siya eh. So abangan mo, pag tunog yung, pagtapos ng stinger, alam mo papasok na agad yung kanta nun. So pagtapos ng ganun na agad. Tanggal ka yung post. Record. Diba?
Precise.
Tapos abangan mo lang, pag mga 2 minutes and 20 seconds na, 2 minutes 30, aabangan mo na kasi sigurado kang hindi lalampas ng 3 minutes yan because that was standard. All songs during that time were just 3 minutes. 3 minutes of airplay. So pagdating na 2 minutes 30, nakaabang ka na sa volume control kasi if i-fade out mo na yun, baka magsalita na naman yung punyemas na DJ eh. So, o baka may pumasok na stinger na naman na
May stinger. May sound bumper na pumasok.
WKW. Baka may gumanon. Bad trip, di ba? So I would record that on cassette and then, use those things in my when we have parties at home, pag may mga parties sa mga chikalinis, mga bahay ng mga chikalinis, di ba?
Oo.
Tapos gagawa ka ng
Ipapa-impress,
mixtape,
oo.
di ba? Gagawa ka ng
Oh.
mixtape para sa mga chikalinis, you know?
Request nila.
Hi, you know, I have this mixtape for you. These are all my favorite songs that
Boyet
I hope-
Sports tayo. Boyet Sports.
No, all around si Sir Boyet di ba?
Oh.
Continue the story.
Ayun yun.
Just continue.
So, well, pero okay, yung relation sa sports niyan, ito. So, lahat
Ayan.
kami may portable cassette player, di ba? Wala pang Walkman. Hindi pa Walkman
Yes.
noon. Portable cassette player kami noon na
Okay.
may kasamang radyo. May radyo yun. Radyo and cassette player in one.
Yung rectangle.
Oo, yung rectangle na ganyan na
Ah,
flip out to put
Yeah.
the cassette in.
Click.
Yes, yes.
Ha?
Yes, we're aware of
Yun
that
yun.
technology.
Standard yun. Tapos meron kang belt strap.
na.
Yeah.
Belt strap
Oh.
yun. Tapos jogging ka with your portable cassette player and earphone na over
May alambre pa yun.
May alambre.
iPod.
Mini headphone.
iPod equivalent no, sir. Yan ang social nun.
Yun ang social noon.
iPod nun.
Social noon. Oh. Wala pang
AirPods.
iPod noon. Tapos, ang connection sa sports nito, eto.
Yeah.
You go to the park. You go to the park, di ba? You go to the park. You play
Yeah.
basketball with the boys, right? You play basketball with the boys. And then, of course, the chicks hang around. Hang out in the village court, right? Hang around the village court. So, pag may mga friendships ka ng mga chikalinis, Uy, hi, I have this new song, you listen.
Oh my gosh.
Ganun ka kagad. Oh, do you have this na? I like that. Can you tape to tape for me?
Kaya naging DJ
Yun,
ka na
yun
rin,
ang
no, sir?
connection sa sports nun. So,
Ah,
mga
si DJ.
basketball ka, yung chikalinis. Tapos yung chikalinis, tapos, can you tape to tape that for me? Oh, yeah. Bida ka ngayon. Wala, bida ako. Dahil yung boys mga kasama ko, wala. Wala silang ganun eh. Wala silang ganun. Okay? So now, okay. On to the radio. So, radio
Sige.
na tayo. My first experience in radio was there was this radio station called DWRK. Their station was located in Bautista Street in Makati.
Makati.
It was owned by a friend of mine. They were launching their FM radio station, so they were on test broadcast. Test broadcast sila. So sabi niya, Chong, gusto mong umupo? Sabi ko, why not? Pero hindi ko
Anong
pwede
frequency?
magsalita.
What frequency? Oh.
96.3. That is actually now what W Rock is.
Oh, okay. Sige. That's DWRK, yes.
That's DWRK. At the same time, usong-uso ang CB radio.
Yes.
What's up, breaker. Ayan. So yun yan. breaker.
10-4.
10-4. So, after about 3 months of me just playing music, sabi sa akin, mag-time check ka. Kailangan kasi may time check. Nagta-time check na ako. Mayaman yung time check, naging, basahin mo nga itong plug na to kasi may sponsor na. O basahin mo lang yung plug, ha? Walang ad-lib, ba? Basahin mo yung plug, time check ka. Hanggang sa, oy, sige, pwede ka na. Pwede ka nang mag-talkies. Nung nagsimula na ako mag-time check, sinasadya ko na yung boses ko ng, and the time is 11:30 in the afternoon.
So just on your own. You're on your
may
own.
ganun na
Talagang nilaro mo lang siya.
Walang turo-turo yun. Bahala ka sa buhay mo. Pag-aralan mo, pakinig ka sa mga ibang DJ na nagtatrabaho doon. Pakinggan mo, umupo ka. Pakinggan mo siya. What is he doing? What is he doing right and what is he doing wrong? Eventually, after that experience, balik sa disco until 1983.
Uy, buhay na ako nun.
Kiss FM. Kiss FM na. Kiss FM.
Okay, Kiss
It's
FM.
101.1. on the FM band. I
Mhm.
credit George Mercado for pulling me into that gig. I had a program called the Kiss Dance Shootout. Kasi nagdi-DJ na ako sa Stargazer noon eh. Stargazer na ako noon
Oo.
eh. Social the disco
Kasi
na. Social
sa
disco na.
disco ka na. Oo.
Social disco na noon eh.
Oh.
So early 80s, tawag nito, Kiss Dance Shootout. Eventually, after that, 99.5 RT.
RT.
Oh my gosh.
Nag-RT na ako doon.
99.5 RT.
Oy, ano yun ha?
Smooth.
May pagagalitan ka kung mali ang pronunciation ng
Oo,
word.
okay. Oh,
Kasi
I'm
hindi,
so aware of that.
hindi 90, 90,
Yes.
90,
90.
99, 99,
Yes.
99.5 RT.
It's like you'll replace the letter T with the letter D.
Yeah.
Tapos, very soft yung D niya.
Very soft yung D. May
Oo.
mga ganun. So, RT, and then after RT, Euphoria na. After
Yun.
RT, Euphoria na.
Yun.
Diyan na
1991.
ako umabot.
91, Euphoria. After Euphoria, 91,
Nag-faces ka?
huh?
Nag-faces ka?
Yeah. But I was not DJing in Faces.
Okay.
I was part of Faces as part of their marketing team.
Okay.
Mm.
I was their competitive environment analyst. Oh, ang ano nung term,
Bakas ng
no?
title ah.
Competitive environment analyst.
Bakas ng title.
Simply put, ako yung umiikot sa ibang disco, titingnan ko kung ano nangyayari sa kanila, tapos gagawa ako ng report. Ganyan. Iikot ako sa ibang disco.
Perfect job for you, sir.
Tapos, memory bank, sino nandun, anong oras sila nandun, anong mga ino-order ng tao, gaano kadaming tao, ano yung tumutugtog, sino yung nagpapatugtog, memory bank yun. Paglabas ako, I'll stay there for about 2 hours, then pull out my notebook, notes, go to the next club. Same thing. Notes.
Start from zero.
Then, the day after, I report to the office, type my report, give my report to the head of our marketing department, who was a good friend of mine. Anyway. Pero yung when I was working in Faces, minsan, pasundot-sundot. Sabihin ng mga DJ, Chong, naman sandali, punta na akong banyo. Ikaw muna. Di ba? Kailangan jumingil eh, di ba? Or either number 1 or number 2. Pag inabutan ka, Brad.
Part of the job.
Hindi pwede.
Magyoyosi.
Mahirap. Tsaka magyoyosi. Hindi pwede magyosi sa loob eh.
Pwede magyosi sa
Oo,
loob.
pwede pa na tayo.
Pwede.
Time
I think back in that time, yes. Pwede. Yung mga aeroplano.
Yeah. Pwede.
Okay,
So-
Boyet, before we continue to for the next second half of your show, next your show na no?
Your
Taking back na ba?
May trabaho.
Mag-sound
May
effects ka na
contractual
naman. No?
obligation.
I just have to do a break. We'll just go on a break and we'll get back to you, no? Okay.
Yeah. Mga konting contractual obligations na. Importante to.
I swear. I can't do that. Okay.
Look at this, Claudia.
Episode 45, Who the Heck Are We, is brought to you by Globally Ballin. You can find Who the Heck Are We at the Globally Ballin YouTube. So link is found in the show's description. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button. Part of the Globally Ballin network is the Globally Ballin podcast, where they take a surface level view of sports and opportunities around the world. Another show is the 5 Minutes With, where they actually also have where's the slide? Also, there you go. Where we have Nico Salva, part of that show. I think he's in one of the shows, and they already have 5 episodes. The next show they have in Globally Ballin is Hang Time with Denise Densai. You could also hear them on Spotify. And last but not the least, our favorite people from an eternity of basketball. We have Noel Zarate, Sid Ventura, and Charlie Cuna as your hosts.
Say the word. Say the word for Boyet Sison.
Si Sir Boyet or si Sir J.
Oo nga. Sino daw si Noel Zarate? At saka si Charlie
J.
Cuna.
Our old friends.
Yeah.
So, And this show is brought to you by Chops to Go. Chops to Go, you could find Chops to Go on our branches of uh, South Mall, SM Bikutan, and SM North EDSA. Another sponsor for the show is Jory's Peanut Butter, coming from Bukidnon, Mindanao. They have several flavors as the cinnamon, crunchy, chunky, and malunggay. So check them out. Okay, back to Boyet. Hindi ko magawa yung sponsorship dahil sa'yo, Boyet.
Muna, did you say the word chonky?
I
Peanut
said,
butter.
Chonky?
I said,
Chonky!
I said,
Chong.
I
Chong di
said
naman.
chunky. Chunky. Oh my God. Okay, Claro.
Yeah.
Now I have something for you to ponder about. You now should all have chalkboards. You should all have chalkboards. And then you
Pwede
can
rin
like,
mag-online game, sir.
chalkboard
Oh.
idea.
Yes.
Chalkboard.
We have to recognize, guys. We're also, nakikita na tayo sa YouTube, hindi lang tayo audio-only version.
Teka lang, alam
Yes.
mo,
Yeah.
mahirapan ako sa snippets nito. Hindi ko alam. Anyway, sige.
Dami, no?
Oo. Claro.
Entertainment, darling. It's entertainment. I'm sure globally Ballin would say, that was a very fun guest.
It was.
This guy.
Yes, actually. Okay.
That's a
This guy again. Yung sasabihin niya. Pero Claro, go ahead.
I think we have to get it for another show.
Magsama kayo ni Noel at saka ni Charlie. Tinan natin kung
Hindi,
magkaka-
wag mag-aaway lang kami ni Sarate. Leaving out of this conversation, it's my show. I'm the guest. Can we leave that name out?
Mag-arm wrestling kayo, sir. Kami ang magko-commentate.
Oo.
Arm wrestling. Hindi, alam mo, maganda, wag arm wrestling. Tanggalan na lang ng buhok sa ilong. Tanggalan ng buhok sa ilong.
I can say ikaw mananalo. Who is gonna
man.
try?
Tanggalan
Who is gonna try at the end of the game?
No hair. Pulling of, for those of you who don't understand the vernacular or refuse to talk in Tagalog, pulling those hair is a very, very entertaining thing to do, especially with somebody you don't like.
So, the question
Kaya
is,
kaya, Claro,
I got
go.
I got a question, Sir Boyet. No, you're
Go,
talking
go.
about the 70s and everything. It's an iconic time in your life. Before we carry on about your career, uso ba yung afro nun? Because that's everything I see
Very
looking
much
back
so.
at the 70s.
Very much so.
Did everyone aspire to get that hairstyle?
Yes.
Not sa disco naka-afro.
Yes. Oh, yes. Remember the fro? What the fro was standard to most African Americans at that time. But ako may worse. And the fro was actually a status symbol for many African Americans at that time. Not only because, well, they're really kinky haired, but for those who did not have that, they had it made. You know, they had their,
Curling, yes.
they had their hairs curled into an afro. In the Philippines, also, there are people who I know of one guy who had his hair in an afro, who has his hair in an afro right now, but his hair is straight. Pero pina-afro niya. Dahil feel niya daw mag-afro now. So, afro. Diba?
Oh. Pero
So,
di
yun
ba
yun.
ang pinakausong time nun yung merong parang long back ka. Do you have yung mullets?
Hockey
Yung mullets
hair.
na- Ayan.
Tumaan ako doon. Hanapin niyo yung picture. Meron kayo nun nakamalet. May mallet ako. Meron ako.
Oo.
Tumaan ako doon. Mallet ka, tapos 7 yung dito mo.
Yun.
Hockey
I
hair.
still remember
don't
my
think I
father's
have it. I don't
hairstyle.
think I got it.
Parang wala. I don't see the
Wala.
baguette hair of Sir
I
Boyet.
still
Pero
remember-
sir,
Thank
Oh,
God.
sige, Claro.
I like your park story and how, okay, DJ and then sports. But how did you go into let's say PBA and everything? Because when I
Paano
heard of
nag-evolve?
you,
It-
yes sir,
it-
parang
it-
you did everything well-rounded.
Oh.
it all became a reality starting off with the experience in radio. Radio really was a very, very big tool, a very big help for me, broadcasting wise, developing the voice. Um, really being able to pronounce words properly, clearly, how to create sentences in your head without reading a script, how to develop phrases on the fly, being able to know how to interview people. That all started in radio. By the time it was the year 2000, uh,
Mhm.
there was a sports broadcasting seminar that happened. I was one of those first people to attend, which was, well, our good friend, whose
Parang
name
kilala natin yan.
shall not be mentioned anymore. Uh, was part of that group of people, together with Barry Pasco, Benji Santiago, Mondiboro, and others who put that up and put up the first sports broadcasting workshop, which I attended because at that time I was already turning 40. Sabi ko, "Oh, what else is there to do? Because I like sports. Kasi when I was working in Faces, may vintage na nun eh. May
Yeah.
vintage
Which is Enterprises.
diba? May vintage enterprises na nun. So,
Niveles.
sabi ko, why don't I give it a shot? Sabi ko, I can't play ball anymore. I mean, my hopes of being a professional athlete has all been destroyed by all the abuse of substances which are legal and illegal. So, forget it.
Kala ko sa
Forget
poste,
it.
sir.
Diba? Ano lang tayo, sports broadcasting na lang tayo. So, thankfully, nakapasa. They liked what they saw, and eventually I was included in the radio panel roster, just like you, Jay.
Mhm.
Starting off with the radio broadcast of the PBA in around 2002, I think, 2001, 2002, which led all the way to a PBA career, which also involved being a Coliseum barker for more than 10 years. So alternately doing TV, radio, and being the barker.
Sarap mag-juggle, no? Sarap mag-juggle.
Ano ka? Kainis! Kainis! Ano ka? Magbabarker ka ng first game tapos upo ka sa panel ng radio after. Kagulo
Lagari.
yun. Kagulo yun. Kagulo yun. Kagulo. I remember one time na nag-alternate kami ni Noel. First game barker siya, second game barker ako. Tapos yung ganun din kami sa radyo. Alternate kami. So, well, it was a fun experience because you were really busy. You were kept very,
Yeah.
very busy. Because we alternated also being the executive producer of the broadcast. So we had our hands full. That led to a 13-year love affair with the PBA, which unfortunately cut short in 2014 already for reasons I will not divulge. I will keep that
Sabihin mo
private.
yan backstage. Sabihin mo yan
I'll tell you. I'll tell you after. And
Pero, sige, go ahead.
after that. No, sorry. 2013. Sorry. In the middle of that, pala, Bill Velasco calls me and says, "Bro,
Yun.
sali ka. May TV show kaming gagawin." Ano yan? Sabi ko, maganda ba bayad dyan? Hindi, loko lang.
Good question. Good question.
Loko lang. The birth of Hardball on November 14, 2006. The
Studio 23.
No. ANC first.
Ay,
ANC.
NC.
May
ANC was
side
first.
story yan, kaya may Studio 23. May side story yan. So
Okay.
that was our first telecast was the day after the Pacquiao Morales fight, which Manny Pacquiao won.
Mhm.
And that started another decade plus years with another entity. Hardball was first aired on ANC. Eventually, Studio 23 needed more content, so they asked if they can air it on Studio 23, which we did. We were on Studio 23 for a good 3 months, continuously. it became the number one locally produced television program for Studio 23, 3 months consecutively. Unfortunately, we don't know why. We were never told why it got pulled off. But, well, yun. For three
Sinoli kayo sa
consecutive
ANC.
months, it was the
Sin-
number one locally produced program of Studio 23. Anyway, so after that, so nagsasabay yung PBA at saka yung hardball. Those are the
Mm.
busiest years. The busiest years. But
Sa'yo
those
na
were the
nakakakulot
years,
ng utak yun.
those were the years wherein I was also exposed, I was also forced to learn a lot more sports. But I still don't get cricket.
Talk to Claudia.
Uy, same kami ni Sir Boyet.
Talk to me,
Talk to
talk to me.
Claudia.
Ako rin, sir. Ako rin, sir.
Still cannot get cricket. Anyway, I learned to appreciate motorsports more because of hardball. That's because of Gino Rufino, who's a motorhead. So 3 permutations of the show. First, Gino, Bill, and myself. Eventually, it became it became Bill, myself, and Boom. And in the latter years, it was just the two of us, Bill and myself. In the final stages of hardball, which eventually we started getting our awards. Nung kaming dalawa na lang ni Bill. We started getting awards in the latter years. 3 consecutive Gawad Tanglang awards for best sports program.
Yeah.
Unequaled to this day. Unequaled. Then in 2012, DZMM asked me if I could do a Saturday sports talk show with Freddie Webb, which I accepted. And that is Fast Break.
The fast break.
That all the more made me appreciate talking in Filipino. All the more talking in Tagalog. Talking
That's
to
where
the
I guested. That's where I guested.
Yeah, your baptism of fire.
Yeah. Na hindi ako marunong mag-Tagalog.
Oo. Nag-translate pa ako doon.
Tapos tinagalog mo, Bo. Tapos tinagalog mo, Papa B.
Nag-English siya, Jay. Nag-English siya.
Nag-English siya.
Tapos itatagalog ko, tatranslate ko kung ano yung sinagot niya. That was fun.
Tapos si Senator Freddy chill lang siya doon. Chill
lang siya doon. But,
No, it was Rick Olivares. It was Rick Olivares.
Si Rick nga pala. Wala
Rick,
si Rick at the time in America. Si Rick. That made me appreciate more as to what the public wants to talk about vis-a-vis sports. What are they interested about? When you talk to them about football, medyo malambot pa. Pero kaputukan ng ASCALs, they loved talking and being able to hear things about the ASCALs. Billiards, not that much because you don't have an active, a very not as much activity from Django, Bata, Pagulayan, and everybody else. But I was able to meet eventually the female billiard players like Bingkay Amit, and interview foreign athletes as well. That was a really, really nice experience. Same with hardball. The guests that we had were so varied. It was so much fun. I've kept a lot of friendships to this day with a lot of people that guested on the show. Even poker players, imagine. Poker players guested on hardball. So it was really so diverse. Halo-halo talaga. Fast forward. After hardball, after PBA, 20 asa na ba ako? 2018.
Mid-2010s. Sorry, 2017,
2015, 2016. Hardball ended in 2018. Our last telecast was in 2018, March of 2018. So I was just doing fast break every Saturday. Went back to actively DJing. I went back to actively DJing again. And then the pandemic happened.
Oh, pero there's still one missing piece dun sa broadcast journey mo. Your ANC anchoring. You did the news.
Um,
The
kasi on,
lunchtime,
oh,
Dateline.
the news anchoring came in simply because number one, that was part of the development. Eh. That's how they develop people. Pa-segment ka dyan. Sports, you get a sports segment on the newscast. Eventually,
Mm.
like this one, I was part of the broadcast team for the elections. I did two elections.
Mm.
2013 and sorry, yeah. No, sorry.
2016.
No, sorry. 2010,
2010, 2013.
2013,
Mm-hmm.
2010, 2013, 2016.
So three.
Mm-hmm.
Three national elections. And that is something else. That experience is something else. That will totally blow you away. Why? You feel the importance of the exercise, of the significance of the exercise. You get to crash your mental capacities to learn uh, statistics, numbers vis-a-vis population, voting registration centers, how many people vote in this particular district, what is the most vote-rich districts in the country, what are the historical tendencies of this particular area, how many females vote for this type of a candidate, how many males vote for this type of a candidate. All of this data is crushed into your brain every time.
Yeah.
So when you get to be a news person, that's uh, that's part and parcel of what you have to do. You just overload your senses with information, and it gives you a migraine every day. Gives you a migraine every day, but it gives you a lot of education as well. You get to learn so many things as well,
Mm.
and I'm very thankful to our boss Jing Reyes, to Glenda Gloria, Maria Reza, who was the one who got us in with hardball. It was Maria Reza.
Mm.
Actually, she was head of the news division of ABS CBN at the time in 2006. So she gave us that opportunity and eventually
Mm.
gave me an opportunity to do news naman. So I'm very thankful
Mm.
for that. Type na type
Okay.
ko yun dahil yung mga idol ko dati, mga Bong Lapira, Harry Gasser, sino ba mga favorite news announcers ko?
Angelo
Uh,
Castro, kasama ba doon?
of course! Oh my
Oo,
God!
Angelo
Casey
Castro.
Stay. Tsaka Joe Mariveles. Sam Mariveles.
Mm. Mm.
So, you have for you to love that, you have to be in love with history as well.
That's right.
Because that happens every day. You are surrounded by history every day when you do the
Mm.
news.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that
Okay,
gives you a really, really good background. Yes, dear.
boy, since you're way ahead of us in terms of age, I love you.
That's a dig on. That's a dig on you. That's a dig on you. We can tell.
Yeah, I know. It's I wanna pick your brain in terms of the evolution of sports. I mean, you said the 70s. You said grabe yung PBA. The sports. It wasn't even the PBA then. They weren't playing for the money. They were really playing for the passion. You worked in the PBA for almost 13 years, and then it stopped eventually. What were the changes or differences that you've seen?
When during the days when there was no such thing as professional sports, uh, athletes were playing for the love of the game, but they were being given allowances. Yes, there was money involved. Let's not be hypocrite. Let's just be truthful about it. They had allowances, but not in the amounts that we are experiencing now. Um, the the sad reality is professional sports only can make you do either one of two things: either make you really play well, because you're motivated to do so. You have more resources to keep your body in the best shape possible, or you can let all that fame and glory and adulation and money just engulf you, and you cease to be the player that you are supposed to be.
Mm.
um I think the state of our athletes at the moment is really, really sad. That's why the comparative to professional basketball income wise has always been the case. It's because they're earning the big bucks. But where is our country in the global stage of the game? We're trying to get back into the thick of things, yes, but we're not quite on the same page with everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else meaning the countries who learned basketball far later than when we did. Because for a country that learned to play the game, uh, you know, by the time it was the 1930s, we know how to play basketball. Imagine by the time that's
Mm.
Mm.
the 1930s. We competed in 1936 in the Olympics. We should have won that. But because the wily Americans changed the rules, they won. But anyway, so the professional sports and sports in general right now really need to be inculcated in the minds of our young people that it's not just playing a game. It develops character, it develops discipline, it develops apathy, sympathy, it develops friendships, it develops alliances, it teaches you the value of camaraderie, it teaches you the wisdom of teamwork. So there's so many values that are now missing in the arena of us just playing the game, because the values that were omnipresent before are not there now. A lot of
Yeah.
it is gone. It has been replaced by adulation, popularity, and money.
Yeah.
That's the sad
Mm.
reality of
That's so true.
There's a definite role
I
now.
yeah, it is though. I agree.
Mm.
I agree with that also. Nothing else to say there, but I agree that
Uh,
Here, here.
money, diba? For me,
yeah.
money
uh,
No, I'm
really.
not saying money is bad.
No,
I
I
am
know.
not
Yeah,
saying
the
that
we
money is
need
priorities.
it.
It's just a matter of priorities.
Diba?
yeah.
They say the
Yeah.
love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah,
Mm.
it's the
It's
love
just
of
a
money. We
matter.
need money. Yeah, it's just the love of money.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Correct.
use
Claro
it.
or Jay, do you have any other questions?
Claro, go
Claro?
ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm okay also. Yeah.
You're
Alex
blown
ka na.
away with all the
Your
kwento.
boy answered everything. Your
Oh,
boy
Everyone
answered
go,
everything.
no?
Yeah.
oh.
No, kasi sa akin, my question na lang now is for ending eh. Pero I don't want to
Yeah, we
end
have
it
we
yet.
have we
I
have
don't
we
want to
have
Hindi,
an
end it.
sige.
ending. Yeah, we have, yeah. So
Sige.
Jay,
Pero,
Jay.
de, I will throw this question right now because this is one perhaps where me and Claro can use it also, Claudia. Kasi you're well aware that we're just getting our foot on the door in the broadcasting world, in the sportscasting world. Pero, it's just amazing. It's just fascinating na yung journey mo na parang nag-umpisa ka, "Ah, sige, subukan mo lang to. Na ganito muna gawin mo, 'di ba? Tapos just yung magiging full blown ka na. I mean,
Mm.
what advice can you give to aspiring sportscasters, broadcasters to get to the place where you have been, and to
Mm.
us na we're just starting to get there?
Or even DJs too, maybe.
Oh,
Number one,
to the DJs, yeah.
primarily, number one, study well, study hard.
Hmm.
Study well, study hard. That will be so useful in any and everything that you will do from now till the time you sign off from this planet. Study well, study hard. Every day is a learning day. Every day there is something to learn. Number two, be kind. Always
Yon.
be kind. Number
Hmm.
two, kindness never runs out, whether for people that you like or people you don't like. kindness is something that never runs out. Always be able to spread it. Spread the kindness to anyone and everyone because you'll never know when it's your turn to need it. And karma bites like a bitch. So,
Yeah.
Baka may sound effect, sir, or
May
wala
sound effects ka. Go.
Dito.
Sound effects.
karma.
Ulitin mo. One more time.
Repeat that line.
Meron. Hindi pala yun. Ito pala dapat. Yun!
Ulitin mo, sasabihin mo. Go.
Ito
With
yung sound effect
conviction.
ng karma.
Oo.
Masasampal ka. Yun.
Oh.
The element of kindness does not only apply to relationships, but to your mental state. Because when you have a kindness mindset, it also makes you conscious of what you say, every day, how your mind thinks, how your mind processes a lot of stuff. If you want to get into DJing, as in DJing, disco, whatever,
disco.
never always be sincere with your audience, more so on radio. If you're going to do an FM music radio show, be sincere with your audience. Treat them like friends. They are your friends. You cannot see them, but they are listening, and they are listening intently. They will know when you are effing up. They will know. They will know. Study your craft. It's not a game. It's a craft that can provide food on the table for you. I forgot. Dapat pala after the study hard, love your parents pala. Because before you even start earning a paycheck, they will be the ones to put a roof over your head, put food on the table for you to be able to eat, for you to be able to like achieve your dreams. And before you get your first paycheck, they are the ones sustaining you.
Yeah.
So, love your parents, be kind.
Namumuhunan rin sila sa iyo.
Oh, mismo. Yun. Okay, as a number 5 na ako. Study your craft. Study your craft well. Be sincere and always be respectful of your audience. Never think that because you're behind a microphone or you're in front of a camera, you're the... Nope. No, you're not. You're just a medium. You are just a messenger. That's it. You're just a messenger. There are more lessons actually to be learned eventually, but never get ahead of yourself. Before you go to the next module, ika nga namin. Before you go to the next module, master the starting modules first before you jump to the next. You cannot jump to the next if you haven't mastered what you're learning now. Master that module, then go to the next. Don't do everything at the same time because you will not be able to really internalize and grasp everything that needs to be learned. Go number 6. Surround yourself with people that will do good for you. That will always do good for you and with you. Choose the people that you'll hang around with. Make sure that they always feed your mind and your soul, most importantly. Because these are the two tools, the two things which will define your humanity and will define what you can do with the talents and the tools that our great Lord has given us. That will be the end of there. Okay. I think 6 is enough. I don't want to give all my secrets.
Sir,
Basic knowledge, basic teachings.
Perhaps
Yun.
before I'll hand it over to Claudia, maybe of course you gave us that great message, and we're in tough times with the pandemic. Perhaps you have a message maybe to people or advice to maybe stay strong, or any tips.
My tips for all of you that are still in quarantine, like all of us are. It's been more than 800 and it's been more than 390 days Uh,
Nagka-countdown, nagka-countdown ka sa Facebook. Eh.
oh, for most of us, it's been more than 309 days. For some, it's 394. For some, 395. Somewhere there. But imagine we're close to 400 already, people. How many of you have been stuck anywhere for more than 6 months? Not even the hospital, right? Diba? Or a place without going out or whatever. Maintain your sanity. Find ways to retain your sanity. Don't let social media take the better of you.
Yes.
Don't let
Yes.
social media get the better of you. That social media will just drive you bananas. There's so many things out there that you should not be reading or should not be believing. The better thing for you to do is read, watch better television shows like documentaries, which I have been doing.
Mm.
I only watch documentaries on TV or the news. Or
I
the
think I'm
news.
doing it right.
Or the news. So,
Oh.
the only thing. Eat well. Please eat well. Forget about, ay, tataba ako. No, eat well. When I say eat well. Not eat a lot,
Yeah.
but eat well. It
Yeah.
is the time for you to learn new things in the kitchen, which I did. I learned to cook more intelligently now.
That's right.
I discovered that putting onions, tomatoes, and the spinach and basil on my salad with just salt and olive oil works wonders for my gut.
Wow.
Great
Works
combination.
wonders
Good.
for your gut. Seriously, that's
Mhm.
what I have every day. Every day. That's the first thing that comes into my body is a
Oh.
salad of a lot of onions, tomatoes, lettuce, spinach, and basil, and just olive oil and a bit of salt.
Mm.
Or if I'm creative, salted egg.
With
Fun.
Oh.
your salad.
Oh.
Yes,
It's a
fantastic.
full-blown vegetable salad. Sarap nun.
Oh, sarap. Sarap.
Oo.
That's the first thing that comes into your body every day,
Ang
you're
sarap ng ano mo.
cleansing. You're
Yeah.
cleansing. You're cleansing,
Oo.
babe. You are cleansing.
Linis ng
You're
bituka mo nun.
cleansing. Yes.
Oo. All
Linis
right,
yun.
yeah. Sir Boyet, ang sasabihin ko eh. Sir Boyet Sison.
Ayan na, hanapan ka. Hanapan ka
May
na.
bala na si sir.
Ayoko na. Boyet. No. Okay, so boy, because we normally this is the start of our first trivia question for those that are gonna be listening now. We'll be sending out the post later next week. I want to know what your favorite sporting experience watching a sport, not on TV but live.
Live.
My favorite live sporting event, or are you asking me what was
Yeah, the best
my
one.
most favorite sporting
Yeah.
event that I watched?
Yes. Favorite.
Wow. Okay, dami yan.
Oh, pick number one.
Top of my list. Top of
Yeah.
my list. The
Yeah.
1973 ABC finals in the Philippines in Manila between the Philippines and Korea.
You watched that?
You watch that?
Rizal Memorial. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Ganda.
That was to this day. I can still see it right now. I can still see it. I can still smell the baho.
You can still feel the heat of Rizal Memorial.
Oh,
Ang init nun.
the hot lights, the babawang hininga of people because you can smoke inside
Yes.
Rizal Memorial. Yeah.
Oh.
There was no aircon.
Yeah.
Rizal Memorial was not air conditioned at that time.
Yeah.
Me seeing Tembong Melencio spitting from the side of his mouth. Oh, that was priceless for me.
Wow.
That was priceless. And I see I see Dave Reguliano not wearing black rubber shoes, but Onitsuka high cut.
Tigers.
Onitsuka
Onitsuka
white
Tiger.
Onitsuka high cut shoes.
Wow,
Trivia
tagal
yun,
nun,
Yun, ah.
Trivia yun. 73,
Nice.
Dave Reguliano was wearing Onitsuka Tiger high cut basketball shoes.
1970.
And most of our players. No, Yoyong was still wearing Converse. High cuts.
Yun yung mga uso na, di ba?
Hindi.
Converse.
Naka-ano na siya. Naka-Adidas na siya kasi galing na siya ng Munich Olympics noon. Naka-Adidas na siya noon.
Okay. Oo.
Naka-Adidas na siya. Oh, naka-pro model na sila noon.
My ganda pro
Pero
model.
Model.
yun yung mga usong ano nun, Converse.
Yeah.
Na,
Ano.
yung mga chucks pa. Pinanglalaro
Yeah.
pa, chucks.
Chuck
Yeah,
Taylor.
yeah. Chuck Taylors. Yeah.
Chucks, tsaka ano yun, tsaka pro model. Tsaka Puma
Oh.
Clyde. Puma
Yan, yan.
Clyde. Remember,
Wow.
Puma Clyde, nagkaroon pa ng high-cut version yan for a while. May high-cut na Puma Clyde dati. Okay,
But-
second favorite live sporting event.
Okay.
The Ascal's AFC win in Bacolod, which I was covering.
Bacolod.
For ANC.
Were you there? What
I was
year?
there. I was covering
Just
that for
covered.
ANC. That was 19. Wait, no, that was 2009.
11, I think.
2011. Yeah,
Where si Claro dyan. Yeah.
in Panaad. Yeah,
Panag
2011.
Stadium.
There you go.
Yep, there you go. I was doing the live reporting the entire day. I was at Panaad from 12 noon until about 2 in the morning, giving hourly reports for our ANC newscasts. What was happening before, during, and what was happening before, during, and after the game. That was a Monday, I think. Yeah. No, was that a Monday? Monday ba yan? Oo yata.
Might have-
Monday yan.
Claro, you can remember
Baka
that.
Tuesday, yung mga AFC games. But might have been a Tuesday or Thursday, yes.
Kasi nalala ko, parang daily pa yata hardball nun eh. I think Tama, daily pa kami nun.
Wow.
Remember, hardball was daily in our first 2-3 years. We were daily.
Wow.
Monday to Friday kami nun. At that time. So that was fun. Solid yun. Monday to Friday.
Galing.
So that was the second. I will never forget that because aside from being a sports fan, watching a live sporting event, it was our country, our team. Sabi ko siya, Philippine team, fanatic eh. It was our team. It was the first time for us to again qualify for the AFC Cup. And nanalo. Wild yung atmosphere
Kagulo
after.
sa Panaad.
Wild. It was wild. It was so much fun.
Okay.
Not only because I was there reporting, doing the job that I love, but also watching something that I love, which is sports. So it was, icing on the cake to be just reporting, but that was fun.
Perfect. Ayun. Thank you so
love
much.
it.
Ayan.
Oo.
Thank you so much, Boyd. I
Solid.
think the two I think Claro and Jay, thank you so much for supporting this for supporting me in hosting this show because as you can see, hindi ako
Laughing gas.
host.
We
Well, you
expected
guys
this
didn't-
to happen.
you didn't do much work, guys, right? Don't you
I
like
know. Kaya right now, Boyet, well, would you like to give a shout out to your friends like si Noel Zarate, Charlie Cunan,
Dati mo sa
Well, give me the
Sinabi
floor.
ko na eh. Paano ba ako magsha-shoutout? Sinabi mo din.
Ikaw yung nag-shoutout.
Siya
I just
nagsato.
want to say thank you everyone. Thank you guys.
Oo.
With a very sincere and with a very sincere face and a very thankful and a very appreciative heart, I say thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk with you guys. It's always fun to be able to share my story. There's some dark ones which I will not say, but if you want part 2, we can do to the darker side if you like.
Premium subscription.
Live.
For what? For $3.95, go to the darker side. But thank you also to the Ballin Podcast Network for giving these 3 wonderful individuals the chance to live their dreams. Because you give opportunities to people who want to be more than what they are. And this is a very good opportunity for them to do so. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to all that are watching. Thank you to the Ballin Network, Ballin Podcast Network. Thank you, Claude. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you.
Thank you. Backstage
Solve
ka
na
muna,
solve.
Boyet, ha? Oo. Kami tatlo muna mag-uusap. Saksi, di ba? I warned you guys. I warned you.
Oh, you just suddenly sent him to the backstage, di ba?
Boyet, I love the guy, man. I love him. And he should be happy today because the Celtics won against your team, Jay. Against the Lakers. So you should be
Injured
happy. So,
all-stars
Jay?
kami. So I'm not expecting any victories from the Lakers side until June. Sa June ko na inaasang manalo kami. Pero going back to the journey of Papa B, ganyan yung mga journey na kung ka lang sa you just look around. Just hanging around there, just observing everybody, and you get shot, just take it, di ba? Palagi yung bilin sa akin, lagi ko na sinasabi when I'm starting here, just say yes, think about it later. And yun lang perhaps yung ginawa ni Papa B sa kanyang journey. Umpisa nung nagdi-DJ siya, di ba? It all started with that, just being an interest, di ba? Hanggang sineryoso niya, hanggang nung nasa radyo siya, nakikinig lang siya, nagpapatugtog lang siya hanggang, sige nga, gawin mo nga to, time check ka. Diba? Hanggang nag-evolve,
About you, Claro?
napunta sa PBA, nag-cover, nag-news.
Well, what
Jay,
I like
you're choppy a bit, Jay. So, yeah.
me
Claro?
watching on TV before, I'd always see Sir Boyet. He seemed to be everywhere. News and sports and everything. It's like starts at forward, play center, and guard. So it was nice to see what he was really doing. And you get to go behind the scenes and see what kind of a person he really is. And I'm amazed. Truly. It's humbling to see that Sir Boyd started out as a DJ and then eventually started talking on the radio and everything. And go figure.
Yeah.
Jay, you were choppy a bit kanina, but I think we got what you said.
This
about the journey.
This journey.
Yeah.
Just, yun nga, tama yung sinabi ni Papa B kanina about what you should do. Those lessons that he shared kanina. Just stick to it. It will take you places.
Yeah, galing. Parehas din kayo, venue announcer din siya, di ba? Parang ikaw.
Right,
Okay.
Pero mas malayo
Diba?
na narating niya.
All right. So, again, this is Who the Heck Are We? Episode 45. Again, Who the Heck Are We can be found at the Globally Ballin YouTube channel. Just click on the subscribe button so you'll be able to see all our episodes from 1 to 45. Part of the Globally Ballin Network is the Globally Ballin Podcast, where they take a surface view of sports and opportunities around the world. Another show is 5 Minutes With. They already have Nico Salva as part of their show. It's a level of analysis within 5 minutes of talk. Another show is Hang Time with Denise Densai. Unfortunately, the PVL is moved to June. Hopefully, we'll be able to see some action. They have really good players that will be in the bubble by June. And last but not the least, our friends. Hindi ko na sasabihin kung anong adjective, but our friends from an eternity of basketball. From Charlie Cuna, Noel Zarate, and Sid Ventura. Sponsors for this show is Chops to Go. You can find Chops to Go at SM North EDSA, SM South Mall, and SM Bikutan. And last but not the least is our Joji's Peanut Butter. That's how Boyet says it. Peanut butter. Again, thank you so much for watching episode 45. It was a fun show. I couldn't do anything but laugh. Thank you so much. And click.
See you.